The city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania is often called the cradle of democracy and the birthplace of America. William Penn founded this historic city over 300 years ago. It was here, in this city, that two famous American documents were written and signed: the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence in Graff House on the outskirts of town. The document was later revised slightly and signed in the Pennsylvania State House. The United States Constitution was also written and signed in the State House. Philadelphia has many other ties to history as well. Here, the Liberty Bell rung out loud and true. Benjamin Franklin once had a house in Philadelphia. Legend has it that Betsy Ross lived in this city. She is credited with sewing the first United States flag, the Stars and Stripes. In its early years, Philadelphia was the most important city in America. One of the most impressive sights in the center of this historic city is Independence Hall. It was built in 1732, the same year that George Washington was born. This building was first called the Pennsylvania State House and used for trials and other government business. By 1776, the American Revolution was raging, and colonial leaders decided to send a clear message to King George of England that they wanted to be free of his control. The Continental Congress had been formed to organize the new country. Thomas Jefferson was one of the representatives to this Congress. He wrote the first draft of what was to become the Declaration of Independence. The Second Continental Congress accepted this document on July 4, 1776 in Philadelphia. It was read to the crowd 4 days later as the State House bell, later known as the Liberty Bell, rang out over Philadelphia. The Declaration of Independence was signed almost a month later in the State House of Philadelphia. The most noted signature on the document was that of John Hancock, who was president of the Congress and the first to sign. He ignored the custom of signing in geographic order and instead wrote his name in big, bold script in the center of the page under the text. 56 delegates signed the Declaration of Independence. 2 went on to become presidents and 3 vice presidents. There were also 10 future members of Congress who signed it. The silver inkstand that was used for this signing still sits on the president's desk in Independence Hall. The Revolutionary War continued until America's victory in 1783. By this time, the Continental Congress had adopted the Articles of Confederation, following the ideas set out in the Declaration of Independence. This was sometimes called the League of Friendship, as it relied on the 13 new states to cooperate without any form of a strong central government. The people were fearful of a strong government such as they had experienced under King George's rule when they were colonies.